Hey everybody, Joe Bergamini, SABIAN Education Network back here again. We're here in my drum studio. I think it's really important if you teach that you have a really fun and cool place to learn, and I've tried to make my studio not only sound good, but be a fun place to come to take your lesson. So keep that in mind if you teach. Things I wish my drum teacher taught me, let's talk about the hi-hat, getting a good sound out of the instrument, and specifically getting a good sound out of the hi-hat. Now, the hi-hat can be played in a million different ways, but just talking about basic grooves when you're first starting out on the instrument and you want to get a good sound, a lot of my students come in and they don't really know how to get a good sound out of the hi-hat, and typically they mainly only play it with the tip of their stick, which sounds like this. And that sounds fine, that sounds good. But most of the time in rock and funk, there's usually the shoulder of the stick is being employed across the two cymbals to get a thicker sound. And if it's not being done all the time, it's being done in combination with the tip of the stick. So here's the sound of the shoulder of the stick on the cymbals. So it's a thicker sound and a fuller sound, and oftentimes these two sounds are combined, for instance, in something like this. So oftentimes when someone's coming in and they're first learning the drums, they're only playing with that top of the stick effect. And when you start to try to play accents, it gets to be a little harder to get them to come out if you're just going, as opposed to going like this. So using the shoulder of the stick is the best way to get a good sound out of the hi-hat and get good accents. When you play an opening, again, if you're using just the tip of the stick, it's going to sound like this. And that's generally not the sound that most rock and funk drummers get and metal drummers out of the hi-hat when they open it. The idea is you want to use the shoulder of the stick and you want to almost crash the top cymbal so that both cymbals start to ring, like this. So both cymbals actually get ringing and sounding together, and then they're choked off with the foot. When you open and close the cymbals with the foot, I try to keep the ball of my foot on the pedal. So when I open the hi-hat, I'm not doing this, I'm not going. I'm actually just letting the toe up. So I'm able to keep my foot relaxed on the pedal and just lift up the toe. I feel like I lose control of the pedal if I lift my whole foot up. So I'll play a groove with some openings and you can see that. So that's what I'm trying to do with my foot there, trying to keep it relaxed, and that goes for whether I'm just playing a groove with openings or any kind of other licks. If I lift off the pedal again, I feel like I lose that control. If you're playing the hi-hat half open, I play generally with the shoulder of the stick across the top. This is in like a heavier kind of a groove, rock style or metal. And once again, the idea is to get both cymbals into the sound and have it sound nice and thick. So those are just a couple of pointers for getting a good sound out of your hi-hat.